This is my third time filming because my camera didn't record the first two, but it's been about 2 months since my last upload, and a lot has happened since then. Fall quarter is over now, and it definitely had its ups and downs. This past quarter, we chose rotation sites. I got to catch up with some old friends. I also visited the Capitol, where we got to work with doctors from different states and talk to senators and representatives about different policies and bills that would help expand our practice rights. Some of the things that were harder about this quarter were the clinical skills assessment at the beginning. I ended up not doing too well on a couple of the stations and had to practice and retake them throughout the quarter. On top of that, our classes were pretty hard this quarter. Even though we didn't take as many classes as we have in the past, the amount of time and just energy that each of the classes demanded was a little bit higher, and so definitely felt just as busy, if not busier, than the past quarters. For me, clinic this quarter was also a bit of a mixed bag. There were some weeks where it felt super slow, and other weeks where they were busy with more complex cases, and overall, it just contributed to me feeling pretty inconsistent, and in my abilities to care for patients, I definitely felt not 100% all of the time. All in all, this kind of led to me wanting to feel like I should prioritize school and just spending time with the people around me rather than try to upload videos week after week just for the sake of being consistent. Another big part of why I haven't been uploading as much is just this growing feeling of wanting to restructure how I was making the videos. In the past, I felt like I was just kind of talking in my car and it was very disorganized. And even though it was candid, I felt like it was very unintentional, where there was just a lot of background noise, or it was limited to the amount of time I was driving. And it was done more out of convenience rather than me being intentional about sitting down and sharing my thoughts and how my time in school has been going. So in light of all these things, with the quarter being as busy as it was and me just having a lot of thoughts, my main goal with this past quarter was to not quit, not complain, and not compromise. Whether that was with my studies or with my faith, and overall just being intentional about where I was apportioning time to and why. But now that I'm finally done with this quarter, I do want to give glory to God for just sustaining me through this present season. And yeah, I think I'm so thankful that I was able to find endurance through God's faithfulness throughout this quarter, but ultimately just school so far. And that kind of brings me to the purpose and vision I have for future videos. I do want to be able to look back in the future to see how faithful God has been to me during this time in my life, and also just to be able to reflect on my own growth. The longer I'm in optometry school, I realize how unique of a chapter of my life this is, and I do see the opportunity to kind of complain and just drag my feet through this time and just want to be done with it as fast as I can to move on to work. But I do realize this is where God has placed me, and so I want to be grateful for that and tell my story rather than to complain. While I make these videos mostly for myself to look back on, I am aware that there are friends and family and even people I don't know who watch these videos. And so a goal and purpose for videos going forward is to just encourage others watching, whoever they may be, wherever they may be, and to help them realize that God has a plan and purpose for them and for their lives. And so just logistically, I think going forward, I do also want to start uploading regularly again. But instead of just trying to focus on getting a video out every week, I want to be more intentional about how I share and how I record the things I do throughout school and life. And so a goal is to have a video up every 2 to 3 weeks instead of every 1 week, but definitely not every 2 months. Looking ahead to winter quarter, I think this quarter will be pretty busy. Winter quarter is longer because I have Thanksgiving and winter break in the middle of it. And so on top of classes and clinic as usual, I'm also studying for my board exam in March. And I've actually been studying for it for a couple months already. I started around the time I uploaded my last video actually. But just looking ahead as March gets closer, I'll be spending a lot more time rigorously reviewing and doing practice tests and questions to prepare for that exam. And so I definitely want to be able to document and share my experiences through that, and hopefully look back on it knowing that the hard work that I put into it paid off into me passing next year in March. And so that's all I had planned to share for this video. But again, I just want to thank God and give him the glory for sustaining me through this past quarter. As hard as it was, I am very thankful to be able to study and practice medicine, not for myself or for my patients even, but ultimately for his glory. And so I look forward to also continuing to document this process and sharing about it with whoever may be watching this.